to this video with my little 2-year-old Secret. So we haven't really seen Secret in the videos too much ever since I kind of brought her home from the States, and she went to North Carolina with me on her way home. We haven't really done videos with her. I've mostly been just letting her grow up. She turns 2 years old this year, and I got her mostly just because I love Thoroughbreds. They are an awesome breed of horse, and I wanted to get a Thoroughbred that I could start from scratch myself. So I chose Little Miss Secret here and got to name her myself. Her registered name is Harmony Secret Gold, which kind of combines her her sire and dam with my Harmony horsemanship program. So Little Secret is still very petite, even though she turns 2 this year. A lot of other people start their horses at 2. I'm not going to be starting her under saddle for a while yet. She's still got a lot of growing to do, I think. But we're going to take her out and start to do some groundwork with her again. Now that a bunch of my other horses have moved on to other homes, I've got some more time to start seeing my other horses again. So I'm pretty excited to start teaching this little girl some things and see what she remembers. When she was a really little girl, when I first got her, we did some things like pedestals and some different groundwork stuff, but really haven't done anything in a long time. Oh, you like scratches, do you? So we're gonna just start getting to know each other again and start kind of introducing the training process and see if we can cause her to love learning, because that's what it's all about, is to love being with me, love learning. And a lot of times I get asked, you know, how do you deal with a herd-bound horse and all those types of things. And really, I find it comes down more to your relationship. So although there are things you can do to help horses not be so impacted by other horses, and I know, you know, some horses are more herd-bound types than others, I find really, if you just focus on getting the relationship with your horse, then the other horses don't really matter. So we've never had a horse that we haven't been able to work successfully by themselves, because we really focus on understanding leadership with our horses and helping our horses to feel safe. Oh my goodness, look how much you're shedding. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of grooming first, and then we're gonna get out in the ring.
We came into the ring and she started off by kind of looking around a little bit and being unsure, which is totally understandable and okay, given that she hasn't really done anything in a while. And you can just see her ears kind of looking over, still checking in with me every now and again, but mostly kind of distracted. So I decided to just do some calm connection exercises to get her focused on me before we actually did anything. So just kind of speeding it up a little bit to show you guys that I kind of stayed on a square pattern exercise for a little bit so that way I could get her attention and wait for her to relax a little bit more. And I'm looking for her to give me better shape through her body and just to show a lot of relaxation. And you can see she started to lower her head a little bit towards the end there. So then I thought, well, let's work on some bending. So I started asking her to just bend her head to the side without actually without actually moving her feet. And she was moving around a little bit and not really understanding what I wanted her to do. So this is where we can use a wall or a fence to help us, because it takes away the wrong answer of moving her feet to the side. So you can see her little nose bending around. I'll turn around in a second to bend the other way. But what I'm asking her to do is bend and give in her body. So bending and stretching is really good for horses, to stretch their muscles, to loosen up their body, to encourage relaxation. Lots of really good reasons to practice bending and stretching with our horses. And that's just simply what I'm doing with her here. So I'm going to switch directions now so you can see the other side with the head on. So because of the wall there, it stops her from going to the sideways to the side there. And you can see she got a nice bend through her body, and I'm just asking her to bring her nose around to get a cookie. Of course, we can shape this bending and get it better later because we want her to leave her ears more level, but it's a good place to start of just her understanding how to stretch down and stretch side to side and just get comfortable moving her body around, and just kind of starting to get loose in that body is really, really helpful for her. So that's all looking pretty good, and I wanted to do a little bit more making sure that we bend both sides before we got into getting her to move her feet. So a lot of times people think groundwork and they just start lunging the horse, and lunging teaches a horse a lot of important skills, but there are so many things we can do other than lunging, and they're really good for the horse, for relaxation, for building a partnership with them, for building understanding about different things. So it's important to take the time to do these other things and not just think about lunging. Now, with that being said, I did get to some lunging, but first I did a whole bunch of other groundwork stuff first. So, for example, I practiced trotting her in hand, as well as doing the other various ABCs. There she kind of got a little bit looky at something, so I just take a moment to do a little recircle again before asking her to pick up that trot and get going again. So there's a little trot for you guys to show her a little bit of trotting in hand. And I did things on both sides of her body, as well as I worked her ABCs. But here's a little look at just the lunging portion, just because it kind of shows how she could be a little bit sticky as she's coming around the side here with the gait, where she'd slow down a little bit, kind of swing her hind end a little bit. And I'm keeping the circle really small because I'm encouraging her, or want to encourage her, to put that bend in her body. And if I let her go out too wide, then she's going to keep herself really, really straight. So just encouraging her to think small circle rather than really large drifting circle. So that was a little look of her first lunge circle to the left, and then now to the right, showing you how she's looking there. And we can see her posture is kind of up, and it's not really where we want it to be, but this is where we're starting from. So after we did our other ABCs, which include like sideways and moving her hips and stuff like that, I decided to do some confidence building stuff. So I brought out our flag and our little baby pool to do a couple little things with her. Rewarding her for not reacting to the flag is super important. And you can see she's a little bit skeptical. She's looking and she's not too sure. And she finds that a little bit intimidating. So I'm keeping my body very neutral, very, hey, this isn't going to hurt you type of thing. And we have to be careful not to overwhelm them, but not to be really sneaky about it. So I'm just jumping ahead a little bit, after I reinforced and kind of showed her, look, if you stand still, there's cookies, there's happy things that are going to happen to you. So there's no reason to be upset and get worked up about it. So you can see she did that pretty nicely with the flag going over her head there. So made really quite a lot of progress in a very short amount of time. The flag just sweeping over her head, not a care in the world, which is fantastic. So she seems to have a pretty good brain in terms of taking in new things and being able to learn relatively quickly in terms of figuring that all out. In the beginning, she was kind of thinking she needed to get away, and then now she's starting to realize, if I just, stand here and let this person do some crazy things with that flag, then there's some cookies that are coming. And so I know I always take a lot of flack about, you use so many treats and blah, 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 blah. But my question for the people that are kind of anti-treat is, when you watch this horse being trained who was legitimately scared of the flag in the beginning and now is letting me, completely wrap it around her and stuff like that, one, it's effective, and two, which trainer would you rather be trained by? Somebody who's going to give you positive reinforcement as you learn, or somebody who's just going to flood you with stimulus until you kind of submit? Like, which do you think is a more enjoyable process? And that's how I like to think of it with my horses, is I want learning to be enjoyable for both them and for me. And I want Secret to be able to walk away from this session thinking, you know what, like, there was no reason to get worked up or upset. Lindsay was always there for me. And she actually made it a pretty good deal. Like, it was actually pretty good to try. So here with the little kiddie pool, it's the same kind of thing of, in the beginning, she's unsure. She tried to leave a little bit, and she's not really taking me seriously. She's like, I don't really think we need to go in this pool. So instead of being really aggressive with her or getting really assertive with her, I'm just staying really patient. So I'm not changing my story, which is really important. I'm not saying, oh, you don't have to do the pool, or, oh, you don't have to do the pool in that direction, or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, look, all I'm asking for you is to try. And as long as you're trying, like right now, you're sniffing the little kiddie pool, and there you startled yourself, so it's not the end of the world. I just block her and say, no, we were approaching the pool from this direction here. And when she's trying, it's just like, you are the best girl in the world. You're doing awesome. That's super awesome. You're sniffing the pool. That's great. And then she'll be able to offer me more and hopefully be able to avoid going into this kind of panic state where she wants to kind of get away. Now, her panic state is not that bad, but she's also never really been pushed and never been made to feel that way, that it's too much. So that's really key. And look how nicely she just walked through that pool with her back legs. Sometimes that doesn't happen. They do their front legs, and their back legs can be just as difficult to train. So I usually start by walking through an object and then stopping with the front feet, and then we progress to the back feet like you just saw there. And that's because we want to make sure that we're slowly increasing our level of difficulty, so that way the horses learn to make progress and to continue trying their best, and they don't get too bored or complacent in little things that we're doing. So I switch up. In the beginning, we start off with the same direction, and then as we progress on hooms, I'll do different directions through the pool as well, just to keep it different and keep the horses listening and focused to what it is that I'm asking them to do. So we can see she's still like, oh, I don't really know. I gotta put my head down. Gotta sniff this a little bit. Gotta see if this is feeling right. And look at her holding her back leg up there. She's like, I don't really know if I want to put it in the pool. And she kind of steps over it a little bit, which is kind of funny, but that's okay. And so sometimes I'll withhold the cookie, which is really key as well. So she doesn't know that she did something wrong by simply, getting a smack or something like that. She also knows that she didn't quite achieve what she was supposed to because she didn't earn the cookie, or she didn't earn that yes word. In the beginning, I use a lot more rewards with my horses because they need to learn that yes means you've done a really good job. And in the beginning, they learn that because it's associated with a food reward. As we progress and we get going, we're not going to use as many treats because not as many things are going to be cookie worthy. The same way that when you're in grade 1 at school, if you learn how to count to like 20, it's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But if you were like that in grade 9, as you get into high school, like, guess what, teacher? I know how to count to 20. That is not going to earn you a gold star anymore. And so it's the exact same with horses, that we need to slowly progress it. So look at that. We finished with 3 feet in a pool, and I'm pretty happy with that. Really great session getting her started, and remembering that the focus is to help her love to learn. So thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think.